23 minutes away from 10 on 97.3 ABC Illawarra. Do you go to galleries much? Maybe you get a bit sort of overawed by galleries because it seems like such a particular kind of destination. Well, there's a very different one opening today at the Scarborough Hotel. It's called the Matthew Gillett Gallery, and Matthew himself is in the studio. Hiya, mate.
G'day, how are you?
Don't be scared of the microphone. Come forward. That's it. Beautiful.
Go.
No. You're a visual artist, but we work in sound here.
Yeah.
How is it you've come to get a gallery named after you, mate?
Well, I think it's every artist's dream to have a gallery named after him, and to have your art in there. So it just kind of came about by Kate's vision after being down at Scarborough Hotel on a bit of a holiday over Christmas, and Kate had given me some timelines to kind of put out of what I wanted to achieve this year, and one of those things was to open my own gallery and have my own gallery space, and so that's kind of how it all came about.
Now, is it not separate to the pub, but basically integrated into the pub?
The idea was to integrate it with the pub and create a new space where people can kind of go there that wouldn't normally walk into a gallery, and now they've got an option to be immersed amongst art as well as being in an amazing location, which a lot of people are going to the Scarborough Hotel for. So running off the back of that and combining some really good art and an amazing location, it's kind of a visual overload in both, inside and outside the hotel now. So
you see it in cafes occasionally, but you don't normally see it in pubs, unless it's old-fashioned beer posters and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Carlton Ale has one at 11 kind of poster. Was it difficult to sort of get the owners to do that? Or did they see the advantage of it?
Well, they were extremely receptive, and I think, it seems that the path they've chosen for the pub at the moment is, to be open from 9 to 5, 7 days a week, and the clientele isn't, your standard booze and, local pub that most pubs are, So, I mean, my background came from managing the Endo Hotel in Sydney, and there'd be no way we'd be hanging out in there.
Unless it was laminated.
That's right.
3 or 4 times behind plexiglass.
That's right. So I think that the clientele there is a lot different, and it's more of a destination that the people are going to, for their days out, and I think that's what's so good about it, is that people are getting there and they're having a nice meal, and it's a cafe, and it's all these amazing elements where people are spending a long time in there, previously staring at white walls, and now with the option of looking at some amazing local talent and showing that alongside some international and interstate artists, and giving people that opportunity who like I said, mightn't necessarily never walk into a hotel into a gallery, and now from everywhere, from kids, I was in there on the weekend just having a bit of a look around and just taking in how people were taking in, seeing as though we'd hung everything on Thursday night, and just seeing kids getting around and loving it and picking their favourite, and staff picking their favourite, and I think it just adds a whole new dynamic to the hotel.
Well, you would have been in regular galleries, just like the one we have down the road, Wollongong Gallery. And the way people absorb the art, you go there, it's a destination, and you put on your serious face.
Yeah.
And you put on your serious analytical brain.
Yeah.
What's the difference in the kind of place you've got at Scarborough?
Well, for one, I hate that traditional kind of gallery scene. I never fit into that quite well with the way I learnt to paint. I never went to art school. So a lot of the time I don't know the correct term that you should judge a piece of work, and I hate when someone standing next to me has the ability to make me feel inadequate in a gallery because they know the terminology of how something should be categorised. So, I want people to be able to just be in there and enjoy it for what it is, The art is on the wall to evoke emotion, and it's not there to test your smarts, so to speak.
And your knowledge of art history.
That's right. You should be able to walk in, and love it or hate it. And I think that's as simple as for me, that's as simple as art is. You know, some people are going to absolutely love some of the stuff, and some people are going to hate it. And no two people are going to love the same thing at the same time. So, you know, for me, that's the goal. It's to make art accessible to everybody, and on that level, you know, it's a simple thing to evoke emotion, and that's why artists paint, is to get a message across or to get their feelings out, and then someone else can take it on board the way they want to. So
I have heard, and you would know this from your time at the Annandale, a famous Australian musician say about his early career that a publican came up to him and said, "Mate, look, I like what you're doing, but it's not going to sell beer." Is there a possibility that you would be censored by the people at the art gallery, the people at the pub, who say, "Oh, no, we're not going to put that there. Customers will get turned off. They're not going to order an extra basket load of wedges if they're looking at that, buddy."
I think, you know, the guys, you know, both Penny and Paul, they seem to be extremely open-minded towards what goes on the walls. I mean, I think, you know, as an artist and a curator now, maybe some stuff wouldn't be best to be served in the dining area. But
Fair
you know,
enough.
I think some of that's, you know, one of my pieces is an extremely creepy clown that a lot of people do freak out about. And I did show it in Art House Gallery in Pitt Street in Sydney, and the lady said the exhibition was going amazingly, except some people specifically asked not to be sat anywhere near the clown. So, you know, I think
Is the clown in a strategic position?
he is. He's hidden in a corner, which kind of in itself is freaky because people come around the corner and go, "Oh God, what's that?" So
That's good.
you know, yeah, they seem to be, you know, they're very open minded and very supportive of what I put in there, and I think you can, yeah. I don't think there's going to be any problem with that whatsoever.
In your untrained way, how would you describe your own art?
Wow. I different, you know, and broad, because being that
Broad in technique or in
broad in
subject matter?
technique, broad in style, being that I don't have, you know, some people, I suppose, look at my stuff and can detect a style or, you know, across the board. I don't personally. I think that I'm very influenced by mood and what I'm personally going through. And I paint not what I see, I paint what I feel. So in that respect, it's very refreshing for me because, you know, one day I can paint skulls and dark clouds, and the next day I can paint rainbows. So it's kind of, as an artist, for me, not being, you know, a specific type, or for me being, you know, put into a little box. It's nice because I can be as creative as I want to be, which is, I think, how you should be, you know.
You're 97.3 ABC Illawarra, and in the studio, Matthew Gillett is with me, and his new gallery, which is part of the Scarborough Hotel, opens today. Now, Matthew, I've been reading your CV, and you've spent time as a surfer and travelling the world. And how did you achieve that?
Well,
did you sell a lucrative license at
No.
the Annandale Hotel?
No, I wish the bank just took that actually. So, no, I left school pretty young and got a trade as a plumber, and then from a plumber did some chefing, and then from chefing to lifeguarding and window fixing. So I've done, you know, a lot of things, but never really found my niche until, you know, I've picked up the brush in a serious sense. So, you know, I want to be doing this full time, and it's what I do now. I also work for Dylan Longbottom here in Wollongong, and I do the art on boards, which is, you know, subsidises my income as well.
So Dylan's a board maker, a board
he's
shaper?
a board shaper and professional surfer.
And so there'll be Matthew Gillett artworks on people's boards that they're
I've done
riding over the Illawarra?
Yeah, I've done about 300 or 400 boards in the last 12 months.
Do you do that with
I do that
spray
with
gun?
Yeah, I use Posca pens and airbrushing.
Wow.
So for me, I love it because it's good for me because I don't do a lot of sketching. I should do more, but I just always never seem to find the time. So for my hand-to-eye coordination, and it's really good to go down there and, these young grommets come in and bring you a tiny, obscure little drawing that they've drawn up, and it needs to be reproduced on a larger scale onto a surfboard. And it's just a really good energy down there, and people are always, frothing and excited when they come in and pick up their boards.
That's a great thing to do with your artistic skill.
It's amazing.
Matthew, that's fabulous.
Yeah, I love it. It is really good, and it's lovely to have that outlet. And so, that's me in a nutshell now. It's doing my art and doing commission pieces for people that are interested, which I've done a fair few of now, and doing the boards, and now curating a gallery. So,
now, pardon me digressing a bit, but you said the bank took the Annandale. So are you telling me you were one of the last people there before it got taken over by the receivers?
Yeah, I got out about 12 months before that. I decided to...
Because that battle went on for years,
It's been on,
didn't it?
yeah, it's been ongoing for about 13 years.
Well, this is one of my favourite subjects where people, move into an area which has a buzz about it, the Annandale guitar strip, the live music, and then all of a sudden, hang on, it's too noisy.
Yeah.
They want the buzz, but they don't want the volume.
Yeah.
It's just one of my pet hates, quite frankly, if I could say that without editorialising. And the Annandale was at the centre of it. I mean, I've played there.
Yeah, we it's just one of those things, like myself, Matt and Dan, where they're butting our heads against the wall literally for such a long time.
I heard, and you can tell me this is true or not, that it went into the hands of receivers after these court battles, and one of the first things that Leichhardt Council did was to give the receivers back their live performance licence.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
just the late licence, which is something that we fought to get back.
Yeah, you fought to get back, failed,
Yeah.
ran out of money, and all the bands in Sydney were supporting you, and then, okay, we'll give it back to you. Now you're in receivership. So that's true.
Pretty much, yeah.
God almighty. So there's going to be live music at the Scarborough?
No, I'm not touching it with a 40-foot pole.
So it's all nice silent things hanging on the wall
Beautiful
that don't talk back.
That's right. Art doesn't talk back.
So as a curator,
yes,
what are you looking for?
I'm looking to expose, and give people an opportunity to have their stuff looked at. I think that's the goal, and I think also,
is it strictly sort of 2D art, or would you be looking at sculpture and
sculpture,
other kinds of art?
I think the outdoor area there at the Scarborough Hotel is definitely open to
when you go downstairs and
to some huge sculpture
that is
work,
amazing.
And there's a lot of guys that are doing amazing sculptures, but haven't got the room to show them. And I think that outside area at the Scarborough Hotel could accommodate that kind of sculpture. But I think me as a curator also, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that I love and want to show, but I think my primary role is to get everyone together. And then once we're together, I think the path of the curating should be done between myself and the artist. I don't think it's right for a curator to get in there and say, I want this one and this one and this one and this one, and then the artist turns around and goes, you know what, I'm not that comfortable with all that on the walls, and I would have liked to have some of this stuff. So I think you've got to be a little bit receptive to what the artist wants. And I know I've had shows in the past where they've been curated, and at the end of the day I look at it and go, I don't think these are personally my strongest pieces. So as me as a curator, it's not like it's got to be done this way. I think it's open to interpretation and working with the artists that are involved.
You got a hell of a piece of artwork on your right arm there, mate.
Yeah, that's not...
that's a beauty.
Yeah.
Is it compulsory when you've got a tattoo all down your right arm to always have the hair shaved off it?
Pretty much.
Just to make it look its best?
It's funny because Kate reckons I should shave both arms, but then, that's just weird. Yeah, I think it is. Well, I do.
Matthew's partner Kate is in the studio with us and is currently cacking herself.
Well, I do.
So, is there pressure to shave the other arm? This is just an aspect of the tattoo art that I've not really considered before.
Yeah, well, I do get into trouble off Wayne, who's the tattoo artist from Thurrool, and he did it, and if it
gets a tiny bit hairy,
well, he sees it like me putting a jacket over my artwork. So he's like, get the hair off it, mate, so people can see it. So I do appreciate it.
I love it that this most tough looking artworks that bikies use. Oh, I've got to shave it and moisturise it every week to make sure it's looking its best.
Well, it was expensive.
Yeah, well, look, no, it's very nice. It's very,
I'm glad you like it.
I love it. I love the way it sort of curls around. It's got something like a koi carp of
Got a
some
couple of
sort,
fish there
and there's a kind of sort of almost Maori
and then a nice big
things in the
Buddha.
back, and oh my, no, who's that right up there? Oh, it's Buddha at the top.
I'll have my
Gee.
shirt off in a minute.
Who's going to be doing the colouring in, or is it going to
That's
stay
it.
black
No,
and white?
that's-
You like
I like this
the
tradition.
shades of grey.
Yeah, nice and traditional.
So what's it going to be? You're going to shave the arm, or you're going to get the other arm, or you're going to get tattoos on that one as
Well, I
well?
could hold off and we could raise money for it. How's that?
I think that's a top idea. I think we need to find a charity to
And,
get Matt to shave his arm,
If
and
we
then
raise
maybe get a
enough money,
tattoo.
I'll shave the left arm. How's that?
Well, the reason I ask is that you talked about surfboards and taking the stuff you're doing in painting and putting that into airbrushing. You've attempted to get into the tattoo business?
I would, but I think there's so much pressure there. Like Wayne is a great mate of mine and I've known for a long time, and I don't know how he does it. I'd be that nervous all the time. I mean, there's no eraser, so
Yeah, you imagine your first couple of tattoos. I mean, it's not like painting a canvas. It doesn't matter. No
That's
one's
right.
getting hurt, but you actually got someone's skin,
So if
which
you
they're
muck it
going to
up-
carefully shave and moisturise for the rest of their life.
That's exactly right. So and I'm a horrible speller. So literally anyone that's read an email from me can vouch for that. I'm lucky to get my own name right. So you wouldn't want some script on your arm from me.
We're glad you're in the art
Chances to be
business.
wrong.
So it's they're going to be opening 5 days a week as well as the usual sort of.
No, 7 days a week.
I mean, as well as the usual weekend.
Yeah.
sort of
So
hours.
7 days a week, 9 to 5.
And if we've got budding artists who want to be in with a chance of being curated, what do they do?
All they have to do is just they can find me online and get my email address at matthewgillett.com, or they can just pop into the art into the gallery / hotel, and I've always got business cards and contact details, and I'm always there on Wednesdays from 9 to 5. So pop in, say hello, have a coffee, and chat about the art.
All right, Matthew. Great to meet you today.
Awesome.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
very
coming
much.
in. All the best with the gallery,
Thank you.
and we'll see you up at the pub sometime.